Okay, we are in business. Alright, hello old sport, my name is Vincent. I'm an illustrator, graphic novelist, history lover, and I'm currently working on a graphic novel webcomic retelling of The Great Gatsby. Today I want to do a historical essay slash draw with me. We're actually going to take a look into one of the many influences behind my Gatsby retelling. We're going to be discussing film and musical histories, more notable earlier pioneers, Busby Berkeley. And while we're chatting, I'm going to be illustrating some new Gatsby art. I'm gonna feature it over here somewhere. Alright, I have no idea how I'm going to edit this. I made some notes. So yeah, editing me is going to love this for sure. Born William Berkeley Enos, November 29th, 1895, with both parents working as actors, William, later going by Busby, was introduced to the theatrical world early on. Busby's father passed away while he was quite young, however, so it was really his mother that raised him while continuing to work as an actress. While he had some stagehand knowledge, he had no formal training. Really, his eye for perspective and choreography was developed while he was in the army during World War I. There, he organized parade drills for the U.S. and French armies, as well as serving as in the Air Corps as an aerial observer. Upon returning home post-war, Busby did some minor dance directing work before getting his first choreography job in 1925. It was for the Broadway musical Hoka Poka. After reviewing the musical, people were pretty impressed, remarking that he obviously had skills, so with those positive reviews, he was able to work on the Broadway musical productions throughout the latter half of the 20s. In 1930, Sam Goodwin of MGM was excited by Busby's Broadway work and contacted him, offering Busby to come on out to Hollywood and work on their new MGM production of Whoopi. Busby directed the dancers and did some editing work on the film for some particular dance segments as well. Oh yeah, the early 30s. Crisis time. Money was tight for everyone, and big studios who were just starting with the introduction of talkies and new ways to enhance their filmmaking, they were feeling the financial strain as well. With the Depression era in full swing, filmgoers, if they were going to spend their money on a movie, were less likely to spend it on a musical. It was a form of entertainment that they could still kind of get in small theaters and vaudeville shows and the like that were still open. Folks just wanted more of that new talkies craze. I have no idea what accent that was. That was me trying to be transatlantic. I obviously did not do that. Yeah. They were more intrigued with the audible stories featuring rising stars and famous faces that made it through the silent to sound transition. They wanted further engrossing narratives. With the movie musical genre dying out, producers at Warner Brothers contacted Busby to work on the musical aspects of their next production, 42nd Street. The film followed a metatrope of a musical production hiring a director to save their production and careers. Old stars and new talent navigating their lives between grueling production work, something Busby was kind of mentioned for, and hoping to close out with a triumphant show despite the odds. The film was a success, with Busby bringing in new audiences to see new camera work innovations, as well as elaborate dance formations featured particularly in the grand finale. The fun part for new audiences was that Busby was actually moving the camera around, whereas this was a time period where the camera was still in one spot and you would probably have one or two others in a different location just so that you could have some different perspective. So he was really wowing people with overhead fluid shots, often featuring his trademark Kaleidoscope dance routines, and moving the camera for bird's eye perspective tracking shots, swooping in and out of buildings like in 42nd Street. He was known for using one camera, utilizing a single perspective to achieve amazing and engaging one-take performances. He also used this for close-ups on dancers rather than just showing them full-bodied all the time. Signed for a few more films with Warner Brothers, Busby created musical spectacles such as Footlight Parade, Dames, Hollywood Hotel, Men Are Such Fools, The Gold Diggers of 1933, and the follow-up film The Gold Diggers of 1935. Busby did later return to MGM to work on more musicals such as Babes in Arms, Broadway Serenade, Girl Crazy, and Blonde Inspiration. If you're really into theater and its subgenres, you may have noticed that Busby's work is a little reminiscent of another theatrical icon from that time. It's suggested that Busby was influenced by Florenzo, aka Flo Ziegfeld, of the Ziegfeld Follies. Ziegfeld Follies being another Gatsby influence. They were pretty popular throughout the 20s. The show featured dancers, predominantly women, in elaborate costumes to accentuate their beauty and making use of props and sets to their fullest potential. Though his career was during the effect of the 1930s Hays Code, Busby managed to get away with at the time risque voyeurism camera work in his musical numbers through innuendo storytelling and abstract cinematography. Busby later worked on The Ziegfeld Girl, 1941, a film following the life of some follies with even more Berkeley-esque opulence. While his theatrical life was a success, unfortunately his personal life was not so much. Busby had 5 failed marriages, a codependency with his mother whose death severely affected his mental health, and his drinking worsened. He was actually in a car wreck that resulted in 2 people dying, and while he was able to get acquitted, even walking as a free man, it still obviously haunted him, this event, and it left a huge stain on his career. Even after all this, Busby still managed to get work in the 1940s as Technicolor film was coming on the rise, getting work with Warner Brothers and MGM, who were still loyal with him. He choreographed some features such as Cinderella Jones, Romance on the High Seas, and $1 Million Mermaid, to name a few. Billy Rose's Jumbo 1962 was Busby's last film, and No No Nanette 1971 was his last theatrical production. Busby died at age 80 in 1976. Busby's skill and innovation influenced many films and musicals. A notable animated musical sequence inspired by him being Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest. Busby's work is even influencing little old me with my comic about some delusional people. Yeah, that kaleidoscope effect is gonna come in clutch later on. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this little draw with me / historical entertainment essay. I've been actually wanting to do like videos like this for a while, but I was a little confused on how I would make it all work. I still don't know how I'm gonna make it all work when I edit it. And 2, I was a little like worried that I would get notes wrong, but I mean, I research a lot even in my spare time, like for silly things, so like I think I did my thorough research. Like I know how to research things, but even still, I will preface this by saying I'm just some guy. I have no degree on any of this stuff. I just research things for fun. It's just me, some books, some articles, and Google Scholar. That's it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'd really like to know what your thoughts on it are, or like if you yourself had any prior knowledge of who Busby was or any of his work, if there was like a particular film of his that introduced you to all of his work. Mine is going to have to be The Gold Diggers of 1933. That was my first film that I saw by him. which is actually on HBO Max, and a couple of his other films are actually on HBO Max. You should really like check them out. HBO Max. This is not sponsored, but you know what, baby, like hit me up, cause you know I just love you like that. I just love you like that, baby. You know, yeah. But anyway, the illustration from today is actually a postcard that you can purchase. I do monthly postcards on my Patreon, and this is the one that I'm doing for July. If you'd like to grab one while also helping support me as I continue to work on this self-made project of mine, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll leave a link for you to do so. Like, even just you watching this, liking it, commenting, subscribing to this channel, like, it really does help me out a lot. Like, I'm trying to use this as a new way to, like, foster, you know, more interest into me and my artwork, so I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the love and, you know, nice positivity on my last video. I appreciate it. If you'd like to follow my work, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and I have some shops as well. And yeah, with that, I will see you next time. Stay rattled, sport.